Here's a song for the global goals. Love for the earth, love for all people, in poverty, fix climate change, we are all equals, don't you know? About the global goals, don't you know? Put an end to poverty in all of its forms, end it everywhere, it should never be the norm, don't you know? About the first global goal, don't you know? Put an end to hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, sow the soil sustainably, don't you know? About the second global goal, don't you know? Ensure healthy lives, promote well-being, do it for all ages, our time it is fleeting, don't you know? About the third global goal, don't you know? Ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, promote lifelong learning and opportunities to be taken, don't you know? About the fourth global goal, don't you know? Achieve gender equality for all women and girls, do it for every person who lives in this world, don't you know? About the fifth global goal, don't you know? Water and sanitation should be managed for all, to be available and sustainable, will you take the call, don't you know? About the sixth global goal, don't you know? Everyone should have access and be able to afford reliable modern energy, sustainable at its core, don't you know? About the seventh global goal, don't you know? We need inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work, this is no joke, don't you know? About the eighth global goal, don't you know? Promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, build resilient infrastructure, and foster innovation, don't you know? About the ninth global goal, don't you know? Reduce inequalities within and among countries. There's a smile on my face because that really would be something, don't you know? About the 10th global goal, don't you know? Make human settlements inclusive, safe, and resilient, whether the population is 1 or up into the millions, don't you know? About the 11th global goal, don't you know? Let's be responsible for our consumption and production patterns. Let's face the facts, everything that we do matters, don't you know? About the 12th global goal, don't you know? Take urgent action to combat climate change and all of its impacts. Don't you be insane, don't you know? About the 13th global goal, don't you know? Conserve and sustain the oceans and the seas. Marine resources need help from you and me, don't you know? About the 14th global goal, don't you know? Terrestrial resources sustainably managed, halting biodiversity loss, that's how you take care of the planet, don't you know? About the 15th global goal, don't you know? All societies promote peace and inclusion, provide access to justice and build effective institutions, don't you know? About the 16th global goal, don't you know? Strengthen the means of implementation, revitalize the partnerships between all nations, don't you know? About the 17th global goal, don't you know? Love for the earth, love for all people, in poverty, fix climate change, we are all equal, don't you know? About the global goals, don't you know? Love for the earth and love for all people, in poverty, fix climate change, we are all equal, don't you know? About the global goals, don't you know?